Hello, today we are going to install FreeBSD 14.0, the just released version of the FreeBSD operating system in a QEMU virtual machine. Then we're going to set up the KDE Plasma desktop, and then we're going to set up the kdesrc-build KDE build infrastructure. So this is the wiki page of the operating system FreeBSD. The web page, the home page is freebsd.org. Let's download. So there's the option FreeBSD 14.0, which is what we want. The options to download are ISO boot on ISO files, disk 1 or DVD 1. We're going to go with a smaller one, disk 1. For version 14.0, we have the installer AMD64, which is a directory where we will download disk1.iso, which is 1 GB in size probably. Yes, so let's download it. Let's actually download the XZ version. Maybe this is faster to download. Let's look at the speed. So this is 100 megabit per second. Okay. We also have a readme file. Which then sends us to these 4 files. We have the BSD install utility and the handbook. Okay, this is the manual of FreeBSD, how to install it, how to configure it. It's comprehensive. It's very well written. So the ISO has finished downloading, but it's compressed using XZ. So let's un-XZ it. So in retrospect, it was not really needed to download the XZ file because the difference in size is not that great. So compressed with XZ was 700 megabytes, and not compressed, it's 1.1 gigabytes. So, okay, now we'll create the virtual machine. Virtual machine manager, new ISO, browse, rescan, refresh volume list, FreeBSD, choose volume, could not detected, FreeBSD 13.1 forward, 10 gigabytes, 14 vCPUs, 250 gigabytes, FreeBSD 14, customize, finish, the better motherboard. Okay, let's have just one CPU and 14 cores. And let's try to change this to SATA such that we have better read speeds from the CD-ROM drive. And we keep the rest of the defaults. Begin installation. Okay, so it boots. Okay, so the default option is boot into the installer, which is also documented in the handbook. Okay, so it booted, and now we're running from the ISO, from the live CD, not from the hard disk. The hard disk is still not even formatted. Would you like to begin installing? I'm going to press enter. Standard US keyboard. Great. Choose a host name. FreeBSD 14. Press enter. No kernel debug, no base debug, no ports, no SRC, no tests. Maybe lib32, okay? I'm not going to use ZFS, I do not know how to use it. UFS sounds okay. Use the entire disk. It prefers to use a MBR DOS partition. What can I say? It should be okay. So there's a UFS, most of the hard disk space, 246 gigabytes of the 250 for slash, and then 4 gigabytes for swap. Sounds okay. Press enter to finish. Permanently erasing the hard disk, which hasn't even been formatted before. So base, kernel, and lib32. So all of these are part of the FreeBSD SRC source code, and after we finish installing that, we will also install from the FreeBSD binary packages from ports. Okay, type a password for the root. Select a network interface card, IPv4 DHCP. Would you like IPv6? Never. Seems okay like this. Time zone, America. United States. Easternmost areas, EST. Skip. Skip. Okay, local unbound is a DNS server. SSH, I definitely want it. NTP, PowerD, dump dev. Okay, so like the current selection seems okay. Security hardening. It's just a virtual machine. Seems okay. Would you like to add users? So a non-root FreeBSD local user account. Administrator user group. I'm not sure where I need to which other FreeBSD local user groups I need to add the user administrator such that it can switch to the user root using, for instance, sudo. Okay, so the handbook suggests that I should add the user to the user group wheel, and then it's also documented in here. It says invite user into other groups, additional groups, to which the user will be added as a member. If the user needs administrative access, it does. Type wheel here. So it seems that we're covered. Wheel shell home directory permissions, password-based authentication, not an empty password, not a random password. Lock out the account after creation. Okay. Yes. Add another user. No. What else do we have? So we've added a user. We set the root password, hostname, network, services, hardening, time zone, and we do not need the FreeBSD handbook. We have it available in the host operating system. We do not also need it in the virtual machine. So exit apply configuration and exit the installer. Okay. Installation is now finished. Would you like to open a shell? No. Reboot. Let's make sure that the CD-ROM has been removed. It has. This time it will boot from the hard disk. So there's MBR partition table. There's at least 2 partitions there. There's a bootloader. The operating system has finished booting. Now it asks if I want to log in, which I do not. Let's not even log in. We have this IP address. So let's try to connect directly using the SSH client. Okay, are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yes. What's the password? The password is okay. How do I become super user? The password of the user root. And now I am the user root. Usual command lines that you run once you connect for the first time to a system. Okay. UFS, soft updates, journal, soft updates, and /dev. Okay, let's continue following the FreeBSD handbook. So we've created a user, we've exited, we've connected to the virtual machine using an SSH client. So the installation was correct. We are connected using the SSH client. Next up would be to set up enough software such that I can survive at the command line. For that, I go to my wiki, so nmariusp.github.io. How to install an operating system and how to enable the RDP server. Okay. So I have connected using SSH. I am super user. We'll see if we can install packages using pkg. pkg. The package management tool is not yet installed. Would you like to install it? Yes. So the Y key on my keyboard, press enter. So it uses quarterly. And now the package is installed. The package manager pkg software. So I will install bash, which is a command line shell, mx no x, which is a command line text editor, mc, which is a command line text user interface orthodox file manager, and git if we're still at this thing. We can go copy paste. Proceed with installing 40 packages. Yes, 67. So libpng, Perl 5 modules, X11 libraries, PCRE, curl, internationalization iconv, boom garbage collector, Python 39, compression libraries, SSL libraries. Okay, let's read the messages after the packages have been downloaded. They were extracted and installed. And after that, we see the messages from various packages. So Python says there are separate ports for some Python 39 packages. Okay, libsig-segv. We will have procfs mounted probably soon enough. Yeah, we will have it. Git. We do not use Git web. Midnight Commander. Does not work that great with sh, which is the shell that we have right now, configured for the user root at least. We will switch to bash. So all of this looks okay. Let's switch the shell from sh to bash for the user root. Control D to exit. Become super user. And now the prompt is different. So this was probably the prompt from the sh command line shell, and this is the one from bash, B-A-S-H. Okay. Let's start installing packages for graphical user interface. All of these nodes are after I have followed the manual a couple of times. So there's this is the FreeBSD manual. Let's see what it says in here. So there's virtual consoles. We will not use this. We will just connect via SSH and that's it. We have two user accounts, administrator and root. The directory structure is pretty similar to what's in Linux. Shells. There's the Bourne shell sh, extended C shell tcsh, zsh, bash, so Z shell and bash. Okay. I've changed the shell. Let's see how we change the shell for also the user administrator. So in here we're installing the X server, which is at how to install software. So you can install software from source code using ports or from binary packages, which would be packages. In order to install packages, you need the command line application pkg. The first time we have run pkg, it has installed the pkg application. And then I've started installing packages from the list of available packages. So this is how you install pkg for the first time. You can choose between quarterly and latest. Quarterly is stabler and is the default. Okay, you can search for packages, pkg search, and then the parts of the name of the package. You can install packages using pkg install and then the name of the package to install. Okay, there's pkg upgrade, similar to apt upgrade, so we will upgrade all of the packages that have been downloaded and installed previously. Package delete, in order to to remove a package. Package auto remove, similar to apt auto remove. Okay, so these are really advanced usages that we will not need. We do not use the ports collection, which would mean patching a ton of source code and then uncompressing it and configuring it, compiling it, and then installing it. So we use pre-compiled software. Okay. So these are the chapters about ports. Okay, then it's up to the X Windows system. You want some sort of graphical user interface, at least in my case. So the next step would be pkg install xorg, which I just ran. It provides a list of 163 packages to install. So that's fonts, input and output drivers, libraries, X libraries, cursor theme, compression, libraries, X libraries, more fonts, compression library, fonts. Okay. By default, it doesn't install anything if I press enter, because the option to not install anything is default. So I need to press Y and then enter. The current user must be a member of the video group. Which I do in here. So PW group mod video -m and then my username, which is administrator in this case. Okay, a ton of packages have messages. Let's read them. So Wayland was installed. Free type. Okay, we want the newest and greatest rendering. Xorg. fdev on a device. PS2 devices. I'm not using any hardware devices. I'm not using the virtual machine at all. I'm just connecting to it via SSH and via the RDP server. That's it. I'm not doing anything in here, in the virtual machine manager, virtual machine graphical console. So hopefully I do not need to do any of these. So this sounds okay. So I'll need to give permission to the user administrator by making the user administrator member of the user group video. I'm not using any graphics card drivers because I'm connecting remotely from using an RDP client and server. I'm not using Intel, I'm not using AMD, I'm not using NVIDIA. I'm not configuring Xorg. I'm not configuring monitors, render, no input devices. I'm not going to use Wayland. I already did this. Wayfire. Kari. Sway. Okay, so there's an entire chapter 6 for Wayland. There's nothing for me to configure for network. Everything has been configured in the installer. And now there's a desktop environments. KDE Plasma. Okay, let me go back to my notes. So I will install Noto, which is the best fonts, and then sudo in order to become super user without going su space minus. Okay, so many fonts for various languages. Provide with proceed yes. Okay, just a second. Okay, so a ton of download of the, many packages to download, and with I don't know, more than 500 megabytes in size. Okay, now let's make sure that the user administrator can use sudo. The user administrator is part of the wheel user group, but we still need to allow the users that are members of the wheel user group to become super users using sudo. So I'm at the step vsudo, but since I do not know the text editor that vsudo starts by default, I'm going to force vsudo to actually open the text editor that I use at the command line, which is Emacs. So that would be editor equals Emacs. So that's an environment variable. We could either export this environment variable or prepend it to the command line. vsudo. Okay, and now vsudo has opened the configuration file in Emacs, and at least in here I know how to exit. Okay, the line is this one. Allow all members of the group will to execute any command. Ctrl XS, Ctrl XC, Ctrl L. Now let's prove that the user administrator can use sudo. And it works. Okay. Then we're going to continue with the manual at how to install and configure KDE Plasma desktop. So there's a meta package that installs KDE Plasma desktop plus some applications, and then there's Plasma 5 minus Plasma package, which is a really minimal installation, and you'll need to also install some must-have applications such as console. Okay. Which is this part. But then it doesn't say that we need proc fs, which we totally do need. Let's search for proc fs. It's documented as part of configuring GNOME, but it's not in here when it says how to install and configure KDE Plasma. I'll guess that this is still needed, even if the instructions do not say so, that KDE Plasma does require procfs. The instructions do say that GNOME does require procfs, so I'm going to actually install it, configure it. Add this line to etc tab. Okay, so Emacs /etc/fs tab. At the end, this is the line. Let's see if copy paste works. Hopefully it did. No strange characters in here. We'll see. Let's put a trailing new line. So press the Enter key. Save, Ctrl XS, close, Ctrl XC. Okay. Then I'll need to mount all of the file systems, including procfs. Otherwise, I need to restart the computer. So that's this step. Okay. So procfs is mounted into /proc. Great. Then we'll install KDE Plasma. So let's install the bigger meta package, because I'm not sure if this will install enough, because I totally want a sane default configured KDE Plasma with all of its dependencies, with the system settings, with Plasma integration, with themes, or the preferred fonts, SDDM, everything. So that's why I'm going with a bigger one, even if it installs more applications. So I don't really need KDE games or more than 5 KDE applications. Okay, back to my notes. So that's the next step. pkg install KDE5, yes. We'll install 700 packages, 1 GB to download. So this is a theme. This is for sound notifications, compression algorithm, personal information management. So that would be email, calendar, and similar things. This is video codec. This is an application, a KDE application. So it's going to take a while to download all of the packages. We'll pause for a bit. Okay, so package install KDE5 has downloaded and installed 700 packages. Then we have many messages from the packages, which we'll need to read each and every message. At least 100 packages have messages for us to read. Okay, so CA root, certificate authority, okay, libx kb common, arrow keys that don't work under X11, duct tape, no maintainer, Qt6 SQL, I notify, kern max files tunable, pulse audio. So all of these, let's save all of these messages, just in case. Okay, we'll have them here in case we'll need something. Okay, sysctl net local stream rec v space. So this is recommended by Kmail, but we're also going to do it because the FreeBSD handbook says we should do it. Okay, so after installing package install KDE5, the next steps are these ones. So let's run them. sysrc dbus enable yes. Okay, hopefully we just run this thing as root and it works. Okay, the preferred way to start KDE Plasma is using the desktop manager SDDM, but we do not actually need it because we're just connecting using an RDP server. So let's install the RDP server. There's two packages, XRDP and XORG-XRDP. Also installs pulse audio module for forwarding sound between the host and the guest. Okay. Then it says in the message from XRDP package that we should enable XRDP and XRDP Sesman, which we're going to do right now. Okay. And then it says about the startwm.sh file. So we'll create one for the current user. For that, we need to not be the user root anymore. So Ctrl D. We need to create this file. Emacs, Ctrl-Shift-V with this line as the only content. Ctrl-XS, Ctrl-XC. Make the file Ctrl-L, MI. Make the file executable. So there's a file startwm.sh without a dot at the start, which is executable by everybody. Let's also install Firefox before connecting the first time using the RDP server. So sudo package install Firefox. One package to install, 1/4 GB will be taken on the hard disk. So this is the message from the package Firefox. Audio backend, missing features, gamepad API, SMB, SFTP. Okay, so this should be it. If we're lucky, we're just going to restart the virtual machine and we'll be able to connect to the virtual machine as we did before using the SSH protocol, but also using the new protocol, which is RDP, Microsoft's Remote Desktop Protocol. So let's see if that works. Let's become a super user. Reboot. Let's see how the virtual machine reboots. Okay, so there's a timeout of 10 seconds in the bootloader. After that, it will boot the default option, which is option 1, the multi-user. Okay, so it said that it has started the SSH server, SSHD, the XRDP services, XRDP and XRDP assessment. Let's try connecting and maybe we're lucky. Ctrl-L. So the command line to connect is this one. And the IPv4 address ends with 223. Okay, says that we're connecting to a computer that we have never connected before. Do I trust? Yes. So Y and then enter. It asks me for the password of the user administrator. This is the Plasma splash. So it took a bit of time because it needed to create many configuration files for the current user, which is named administrator. And now we're inside the virtual machine. We've totally ignored the virtual machine manager console, graphical console. I didn't click inside of here. I didn't press any keys and anything. If I wanted to connect via console, I went with the SSH client. If I wanted to connect from the host to the virtual machine in graphical user interface mode, I'm using this command line. So XRDP, user, width, height, and all of these extra parameters, which you can see on my wiki page, which is nmariusp.github.io/rdp. Okay, So next, this is the KDE Plasma desktop. It works correctly. Next up, I'm going to set up in here kdesrc-build with the current version, which is for Qt framework version 6. So let's configure a bit Firefox. Ignore what I'm doing in the following seconds. Okay. How do I close this button? And then settings. And then downloads. Ask, where are you? Ask where to save. Okay, so these were all of the settings that I needed. Next up, I'm going to go to the KDE web page, and I'm going to use Firefox in a private browsing mode. So kde.org, hamburger menu, get involved, development, and FreeBSD is not one of the best supported operating system by kdesrc-build, but it is supported. Okay, so I've already installed Git. I don't need to write to the Git. I'm just going to use Git in order to read. So let's start with these instructions. Let's make sure that we have favorited the console. So this should be added to favorites. Where are you? This should not be in here. Okay. So this is a default KDE Plasma terminal application. I'm going to run these command lines. Okay, so we did the step where we git clone the KDE Git repository in vent.kde.org/sdk/kdesrc-build. Next up is we're going to run the initial setup. It asks my password. Is going to run this command line. So sudo package install automake bison boost cmake docbook doxygen igun gettext gmake gperf Qt6. So the list is really small. Should also have Qt6 in here. So the password, package command not found. That's interesting. Sudo package does not work. Package command not found. Let's become super user. Package is still not found in here. Sudo minus. So it's in /usr/sbin/pkg. So the environment variable path for all of the users except the user root is incomplete, contains bin and sbin, but contains usr bin, does not contain usr/sbin, and probably also /usr/local/sbin, if these are not symlinks. So I need to edit the path environment variable. So let's see how I do that. cd ls-la. So there's configuration files for the shell. There's .config c shell rc bash history .profile .shrc. So let's look at those. This thing. This thing. This thing. This thing. Editor is V, pager is less. So /etc/login.conf. Let's see the configuration files for the shell for the super user. Ctrl-Shift-T. Su minus MC. Whoa, that looks really ugly. F3. So this is the problem. The .profile file for the root is heavily edited, whereas for the other users it's heavily commented out and just depends on /etc/profile. We can see it in here. /etc/login.conf. Okay, so let's edit this file. Says we should comment out the line path. sbin/bin correct, /usr/sbin, /usr/bin correct, /usr/local/sbin, /usr/local/bin correct, home/bin correct, and export path. Why doesn't it do it like this? How do I save F2? Yes, F10, F10. So I'm the user administrator. I need to source /.profile. Okay. And let's look at the environment variable path. And it's the correct one with /usr/sbin. And now if we run which package, it will find it. Okay, so again, let's make sure that pkg is in the path. And it is. So we'll go back to in here. So we were in the directory /kd/src/kdesrc-build. Let's run this thing. Okay, asks for the password of the user administrator. And now pkg does its thing. It will download and install 81 packages. And this time the speeds are way better. So it's 17 megabytes per second versus 1 megabyte per second, which was previously, so 10 times better. Okay, so the kdesrc-build tries to install as many packages from the operating system, which is FreeBSD, such that many KDE Git repositories can be built using kdesrc-build. So at least all of the KDE frameworks version 5, all of the KDE frameworks version 6 should be able to build because the needed dependencies have been installed by kdesrc-build initial setup. But we'll see. From what I see, the list is really limited. Does not seem to contain Qt6 at all. Okay, it has downloaded, it has installed. We're seeing more messages from the packages. SQLite. Qt5 WebKit is deprecated, of course it is. Do you want to update bashrc? No, which is the default. I'm going to move this configuration file to the current directory. I'm going to look at this configuration file with the KDE text editor. Okay, so let's see. Branch group KF6 Qt6 correct, include dependencies correct, directories are correct, rel with debinfo is an option. The other option is debug if you want to actually have debug symbols and you want to debug the generated executables. Okay, numcores correct. Install session driver false. So these are just the default values. Let's start building. First of all, we'll make sure that everything's correct by building. So in order to build, you need to append // because kdesrc-build is not in path. kdesrc-build is an executable. So / kdesrc-build. And then I always build KDE Git repositories in the same succession. So first off is kconfig, which is the KDE framework version 6. There will be Git cloning for 3 KDE Git repositories, sysadmin repo metadata, extra CMake modules, and kconfig. And then for all KDE Git repositories except sysadmin repo metadata, it will configure, build, and install. So build in the sense of compile. Okay, so this is git clone. This is CMake configure. This is compile, and this is install. Let's look at the 3 directories. So in the /kd directory, there's 3 subdirectories. In here, individual Git repositories have been cloned, but the Git clone directories are really clean. All of the build artifacts, intermediate files, generated files, etc. will be inside tilde/kd/build and then the name of the KDE Git repository. After the repository is built, for instance this one, the generated files will be then copied in the installing step into tilde/kd/usr in here. Okay, so building ECM extra-CMake modules has succeeded, but then building kconfig has failed, and probably because a FreeBSD package was not installed. Let's see which one. And says Qt install prefix required, no executable found, so ECM query Qt. That's totally because we do not have Qt6 yet. So let's search for the FreeBSD package and then install it. Okay. I'm the user root, package search Qt6. So there's Qt6 base, 5 compat. The version is not the greatest, so the latest version is 6.6.0, but this is the penultimate version, 6.5.3. Okay, there should be a meta package, this one, Qt6, meta port, this guy. So let's install that one. Package, install Qt6. .44 packages to download. Go ahead. Let me keep some notes. So package install Qt6. Okay, download speeds are 10 megabytes per second again, which is good. It's installing packages, and now I guess that the KDE Git repository kconfig will be buildable. So again, /kdesrc-build space kconfig. Git operations seem to be slow, at least for this KDE Git repository. Okay. I'm not sure why Git operations are 100 times slower than they should be. Each of the Git operations take, maybe there's some timeout in here. Okay, so kdesrc-build has successfully built the KDE Git repository kconfig. Next up, I'm going with the KDE Git repository kcalc, which is a desktop. Okay, so even the third Git repository failed to build, which is Wayland. Let's look at what's missing, and it's at least 5 packages that are missing. So this XML2, so these are for Wayland. Let's skip over Wayland for now. No stop on failure is the setting that I'm looking for. I do not see it in here. Okay. So no stop on failure. Even if Wayland does not build, maybe the other Git repositories actually do not need Wayland and can build correctly. Also from the KDE wiki page where it's documented how to install and configure kdesrc-build, we should disable file search indexer. So that's in the system settings. I search for index, and then I just disable file search. Nothing bad will happen. This is a virtual machine. And I'm also deleting the index data. So with this, maybe operations inside tilde/kd directory are a bit faster now. So indeed, kcalc has built correctly, even if the Wayland Git repository did not build correctly. So kcalc is the KDE desktop calculator, which would be this thing. So this is from FreeBSD packages, and it uses Qt5.15.10. And then I have built from source the latest source code from the KDE Git repositories for this application kcalc, which uses Qt6. So the command line would be kdesrc-run not build, and then the name of the executable kcalc. Okay, so this is kcalc that uses Qt5 from the FreeBSD packages, binary packages, whereas this kcalc2 is the one we've just installed from source from KDE Git. It's the same application, but it looks a bit different. Okay, so you can see that the Qt version is 6.5.3. The Qt was installed from FreeBSD packages, Qt 6.5.3. Qt 5.15.10 is also installed from FreeBSD packages, but then kcalc 230801 is installed from FreeBSD packages, whereas kcalc 240175 is installed using kdesrc-build straight from the KDE Git repository master branch. Okay, now the theming is different because this uses the theme that the user has chosen in system settings, which is this theme, Breeze. This one. Whereas this other application does not know that the user has chosen to use Breeze. So this is a different theme. You can see the scroll bar is themed differently. There's buttons at the ends of the scroll bar, whereas in here there's no such thing. The tabs do not have that horizontal blue line. So in order to fix that, the next step would be to build the KDE Git repository named Plasma integration. Let's actually do that. So next time when we run kcalc build from using kdesrc-build, after we build successfully the module Plasma integration and we install it, the theming should look really similar between the two kcalcs, the one with Qt version 5 and the one with Qt version 6. So kdesrc-build managed to build Plasma-integration, the KDE Git repository correctly, and now the theming for the application kcalc should be better. So let's run kdesrc-run kcalc again. Let's have the kcalc from FreeBSD. And let's compare the theming. So when I hover on the kcalc main menu, I have the same effects. In About kcalc, the styling of the tabs looks the same with that horizontal blue line. The scroll bars are the same. So it's the same theme. Okay, in here, this is actually a status bar and it's themed differently. Maybe this is from the changes that went into KDE Plasma 6, which is not using frames. So there were rounded corner panel-like things in many places in applications, and now everything is more rectangular and with less intermediate widgets. So there's a sudden transition from this, which is a edit box, to the border of the application, whereas in here there's these 10 pixels when you can see the background of the application. Okay, and the settings also is improved. There's a search. There's this 1 pixel horizontal line in here. There's this header bar thing going on with the text of the tab. Okay, so now the applications that we build with kdesrc-build, we can run them with the correct theme. Next up would be to build the rest of the KDE frameworks version 6. So that's kdesrc-build, no stop on failure, and the name of the module set is frameworks, which is 80 Git repositories to build. This will also take a while, so this should be it. If I find that some KDE Git repository does not build, 99% of the cases is going in for FreeBSD will be that we will need to install additional packages from FreeBSD using the command line package install. And I'll document which additional FreeBSD packages we need to install such that at least kdesrc-build frameworks works correctly. Thank you.